I don't know that I've seen a receiving core as good as the one at Alabama in quite some time. I mean, Devontae Smith was just bananas against Ole Miss with 274 yards and 5 touchdowns. Number 1 ranked Alabama taking on Texas A&M. Does A&M have a shot, being that it's at home?
They have an outside shot. I mean, Kellen Mountain's a good quarterback, and Jimbo Fisher's certainly a really good coach. I just don't think they're good enough and ready on both sides of the ball in the line of scrimmage to handle Alabama and stay with them for 4 quarters. I mean, you're right. That is a great group of receivers Tua has. I mean, Jerry Jeudy's probably the most dynamic after the catch guy. They just have a ton of firepower. And, I just don't see them being able to hang with the Tide for 4 quarters. I think maybe a year from now, this matchup will be a little different because Tua and some of those receivers will be gone. I think Jimbo will be in year 3. But right now, I just think it's too much of an uphill climb for the Aggies.
So you talk about Jerry Jeudy and Devontae Smith, Henry Ruggs, all 5-star recruits coming out of high school. I was racking my brain trying to think of, just in the last, 10, 15 years, a better trio, in school. I came up with a couple of lists here, okay? I want to run them by you. Ohio State in 06-07 had Santonio Holmes, Ted Ginn, Anthony Gonzalez, all first-round picks. Miami had Santana Moss and Reggie Wayne, and then Andre King, who was a 7th-round pick. And then LSU had the year where they had Michael Clayton, Devery Henderson, and Josh Reed. Is there another receiving core, in recent history that stands out to you that was as dynamic as this receiving core at Alabama right now?
Well, I would put the combination that Zach Mettenberger had at LSU just with Landry and Odell Beckham. It was a big drop-off for the next guy. There are guys who played in the NFL.
Yeah.
What's crazy is, as good as this Alabama group is, I mean, also in the SEC West right now, you have Justin Jefferson, who's been fantastic. He was a low 3-star guy who's blown up and been a great player for them. They have Jamar Chase, who's probably the breakout player in the SEC this year, and Terrace Marshall, who's hurt. But those guys, and Terrace Marshall will probably be back in a couple of weeks, those guys, as a threesome in that offense, they rival that group. Clemson's loaded. I was thinking USC had a bunch when it was, and Marquise Lee has not been a great NFL player, but you look at, had a great run. Robert Woods, they have had a run of really, really good receivers. But, you could throw what Clemson had.
Mm-hmm.
You've had some big, super athletic receivers there. It's just hard to be honest. Sometimes these guys blur together where somebody was really, really great their last year, but probably a role player when the other guys were kind of rolling. It's just hard to I think, have them all going off at one time the way it seems like Alabama has with Tua right now.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.